Have you ever questioned where and how to touch an older woman to establish a strong and a memorable relationship for many? Although this may appear to be a mystery, in actuality, there are particular locations on the body of an older woman that, when touched, care and intention can awaken sensations of enchantment and desire and emotional closeness. I'm going to discover 7 crucial areas that can transform an adult lady experiences a mixture of passion and link, abandoning her entirely enthralled with you. But here's the thing. Physical contact isn't the only thing that matters. About being aware of the depth of emotions, sensitivity, and deference that accompany. With these motions, picture yourself as the person who knows just how to evoke feelings. She believed they had long since been forgotten, creating make her feel valued in ways she has never anticipated. Before we get started, I would like to highlight how the initial 2 touches can generate powerful and exciting sensations. Nevertheless, the fifth and last touch is the secret to completely abandoning her captivated by you if you're willing to discover these secrets, and be sure to join the Priceless Mind channel by subscribing. If you haven't given it a thumbs up, already press to turn on the alert bell so you don't ever miss our content that transforms. So let's start with the lower back. The lower back appears to be a typical location, but one with a great deal of power at first look. It can seem straightforward, yet do not undervalue its capacity to express warmth, affection, and security. When you gently put your hand on her, you're providing more than just lower back. You're conversing with just a touch. Deep message, I'm available to you. Imagine that you two are strolling together through a congested area or ascending a stairway where your hand rests naturally on the base of her back. This tiny gesture conveys a powerful message, demonstrates your awareness of her requirements, prepared to mentor her and provide silent, stable support. This touch, which exudes assurance and concern without using words, it's a subliminal reminder that you are trustworthy, making something remarkable and one of a kind connection. It's important to maintain the soft and fluid touch should never be used. Consider it if you feel invasive or in control. As a representation of presence and safety, instead of deciding whether you're assisting her and guiding her into a car through a throng or just strolling next to. This contact ought to feel like a subtle yet effective method to demonstrate your next, support and love the nape. Let's discuss the nape, which is one of the most vulnerable and fragile regions on this area of a woman's body, is frequently exposed. This makes it ideal for a light and loving touch, though, as it's a delicate location, it needs to be handled with extreme caution, and when you lightly stroke the nape with respect, you're not merely fostering a feeling of intimacy, you're creating a more sentimental. This touch demonstrates that you appreciate the faith she has in you, and it shows that you respect her. Vulnerability. It's an actual closeness that can cause shivers and elicit strong feelings through the lead touch, must always be subtle and light. Urgent or vigorous yet tender touch with your fingertips is frequently sufficient to produce a strong. This gesture's response is excellent. During loving times, like as when you're holding her face while hugging her, or the nape is only standing next to her. A doorway to closeness, and when handled carefully, it can leave her feeling a strong bond with you. The arm. The arm could appear as an unexpected decision, but it truly is a hero when it comes to establishing intimate moments and relationship. Picture yourself experiencing a profound emotional talk to her while you lean in to pay attention or make a statement with your hand. This naturally rubs against her arm. A physical link can be formed with just a touch. That reflects the depth of your emotions dialogue. The key is to make the touch feel spontaneous and natural. Not about taking hold of her arm, but letting your hand to move in a smooth, supportive manner. The intimacy of this gesture between you shows that you're completely present and actively participating and demonstrating sincere interest in what she must claim that the arm is a flexible place for touch, regardless of whether you're seated at a table, walking, or standing next to each other. Combined, a light pat on her arm can express interest, support, and a connection. It transcends words. Take note of. Depending on her reaction, she may lean in, increasing the closeness and intimacy of the moment. The knee. Let's investigate. The knee is a surprising yet potent place. This area has amazing potential to create a sense of closeness and connection, particularly when intentionally touched. And take a picture of yourself sitting here, together, maybe viewing a film, or your hand while sipping a glass of wine rests lightly on her knee while you converse. Although it could appear to be a straightforward gesture, it has a deep significance in this light. Touch fosters a feeling of intimacy and comfort, fostering a closer relationship. The secret is to maintain contact between you. Gentle and considerate, concentrating on the emotional bond as opposed to physical exhilaration isn't what exerting force while communicating a reliable presence. The knee is an accessible and perfect location for a sensitive touch, regardless of whether you're in a theater, strolling hand in hand, or just sitting down. When combined, this subtle gesture can produce. She felt Val appreciated and cherished the trash. The trash is a space that can strengthen your bond and communicate love in a potent manner. It's an A touch, and an incredibly sensitive place can express a variety of emotions, from intimacy and safety to desire with fervor. Picture yourself dancing, moving in unison to the beat of the melody when your hand lightly touches her. Waist providing a combination of efficient, and this gesture of security exudes a feeling of safety and intimacy, strengthening the relationship between you. But it's important to approach. This touch is given with care and respect. Never let your waist feel like a point of. Instead of domination or control, it should offer resolute and hospitable assistance. Whether you're strolling or snapping a picture, cuddling on the couch, or together, the waist is a prime example of this kind of interaction. The hands investigate the strength of the hands, apparently popular option, but one that can turn into incredibly sensual and intimate. When done correctly, picture yourself seated in person, possibly at a cafe or eatery, enmeshed in a profound conversation. You reach out and grasp hers, encircling it with a gentle but firm touch. Is a basic gesture that expresses warmth, genuineness, and a strong bond, one that expresses and transcends words straight to the heart. It's a quiet but strong communication method, a means of declaring that I'm with you here without the requirement for more complex expressions. When sincere, bridge gaps can be closed, doubts, and foster a trusting environment, and holding hands in closeness is one of the oldest and most natural types of human connection since our early years, connected to safety instructions and love. A youngster seeks out a parent's hand. For those who enjoy comfort, entwine your fingers to feel more intimate. When pals are happy, they hold hands, or there is something very sad about it. This small act is comforting, possesses a feeling of inclusion and belonging. Taken care of, understanding that you are not by itself, it demonstrates that you are totally not only physically present, but also actively involved. However, emotionally, in a society that is full with divert, where focus is frequently split between notifications and screens. Despite never-ending to-do lists, a straightforward act of two people can be grounded by hand-holding in the presently. It states that you have my undivided focus. I am here with you, and no one else outside of your presence. Additionally, holding hands provides a feeling of there's a cause for comfort and security. Why individuals automatically grasp for the hand of a loved one in times of fear, ambiguity, or discomfort. A light squeeze might be a silent assurance that you're safe and that I'm here comforts, calms, and offers a stable anchor during tumultuous times. The warmth of someone else's skin, faint pounding of their heart, via their little minor data at your fingertips, have a method of reducing anxiety and swapping it out with a soothing touch, should be kind and organic, never coerced or overwhelming. The most significant gestures are fluid, easily without doing any math, or there is a sense of a forced hold, possessive or uneasy, in contrast to a gentle but deliberate touch, can express concern, admiration, and sensitivity, such as the way fingers tangle or resting against one another, says a lot. Regarding the character of the relationship, whether it's protective or playful, fervent or merely loving, if you're seated or strolling together in a park or having a private conversation. Talking while holding hands is still a timeless and consistently alluring gesture, is a delicate finger dance, and palms are a silent means of communication, appeal, and sentimental intimacy, which may be an unconscious reaction, a tiny but important movement that brings two people closer together without using words when strolling next to each other. A gentle hand brush before they eventually cross paths can establish a excitement of waiting for the first moment when hesitant but eager fingers can convey the skin with an electric charge. It's a reminder of how thrilling link between the unsaid energy that exists between a couple who are attracted to one another during times of silence, like sitting side by side on a seat in a park or across from one another at a coffee house. A slow, methodical grab for the other's hand can produce an environment of there is a very meaningful, calm intimacy. Person regarding how hands find each other. Other in these circumstances, how they fit in, how they adapt to each person's contours. Others grasp, and the way they express a silence message of comprehension and solidarity at a private discussion. Keeping hands acts as a stabilizing force, confirming each word that is said with a touch that adds, I mean this. Importance of the feelings being conveyed, establishing a foundation for conversation palpable. It serves to highlight sincerity in creating an even atmosphere more authentic. Even in the most basic interactions, this gesture conveys an irresistible appeal, a light-hearted tug, while a comforting squeeze as you cross the street. In a peaceful moment, a lazy entwining fingers, while one observes that every instance in the film has significance. These modest daily actions that contribute to the basis for a closer bond and durability, holding hands with affection is a ubiquitous show of affection, yet it's also an incredibly intimate one. Every handhold is different. Since no two relationships are alike, certain grips are delicate and soft, but some are interlaced and firm, while others are a quick flick of the fingertips before letting go. While people are still there, unwilling to every touch, conveys a narrative. Feelings that words can't always express record the instances of separation between the A hand's release might be as simple as important as the practice of keeping it the fingers slowly unraveling. The reluctant palm's departure, it all refers to the depth of the occasionally. Even after letting go, the bond warmth is still an undetectable mark that persists for a long time following physical contact. Hence, it's simple to undervalue the impact of such a basic gesture, but when done honestly, it can leave an enduring parity in a world where love is frequently complex and relationships are full of unknowns, that hands are still among the purest and most natural ways to express your concern. I'd like to be near you, and occasionally, all that has to be mentioned is that at last, let's discuss the wrist. Among the most romantic and delicate parts of the female body, such as the inner wrist, is especially silky and delicate. Here, touch might arouse feelings of sexuality and intimacy. Picture this: you bring her, put your wrist near your mouth and give that a gentle, loving kiss, delicate. This personal gesture establishes an instance that seems like a mutual secret between you, charming, and seduction is a delicate yet effective technique. To express your curiosity, and the secret to admiration is to maintain contact, soft and ephemeral, as though transported by. There was a slight breeze that could be felt, but not overt enough to make an impression, as opposed to a never force a touch on someone. Invasive or coercive, it ought to be an invitation rather than a demand. Claiming her is not the intention. Space, but to build a link between link one that whispers instead of shouts, one that implies instead of insists on using a gentle brush to greet her. IND can communicate against her wrist at kindness and consideration, establishing the tone for a relaxed and interesting engagement. This tiny gesture conveys chapters that recognize her existence, expresses gratitude and a feeling of familiarity without going over. Borders is a subliminal indication that says, I see you and I'm grateful without the necessity of words. Much as when saying farewell with a quick tap on the wrist can be simply as potent as it is, it leaves a feeling that persists long after use section methods that differ from a solid handshake or an embrace a wrist touch that is overwhelming, faint, almost transient, like the final a lovely melody's chords fade into. The touch of the air is the type that causes someone to unconsciously play back the time in their thoughts. Contemplating its significance and emotions associated with the wrist is a perfect location for interaction due to the delicate nature of intimate but in a social. It is acceptable, but not as daring as a touch, a face, or as far away as a touch on the skin of the shoulder is delicate, enhancing the sensation of even the slightest touch more noticeable important. A light fingertip stroke can arouse curiosity with an eye hint intimate intimacy, while maintaining respect for timing and intent are important in personal space. Equally as much as the actual touch, a thoughtful touch may bring coziness to a moment during a period of illness or extreme. One may have the opposite outcome. Here, confidence is important, not overconfident, but subtly confident. It makes the gesture seem natural. Instead of calculated, it ought to be simple, not practiced, as if it had just happened. Maintaining eye contact during the conversation can intensify this touch's impact. When the wrist is touched, with a brief moment of fixed attention, it strengthens the bond, creating the interaction seem more sincere and intimate. Grin can amplify the warmth of the gesture. To be sure, it appears as kind and genuine instead of acting as and try to influence or regulate both cultural and individual. Some people's preferences also come into play. Feel more at ease being touched physically compared to others, and reading is crucial. Her body language in the event that she answers favorably by grinning and bending in a little, or continuing the conversation, then the objective of the touch has been fulfilled. If she withdraws or appears uncomfortable, it's vital to honor that limit and modify. Consequently, the beauty of a strategically positioned, the power of fleeting touch, is in its capacity to construct a moment that is both concrete and it's not about possession or ephemeral convincing, but about cultivating a feeling of bonding that seems natural and significant. The appropriate touch can make a simple hello makes you feel valued and fair. Feel good. A touch on the wrist that will never be forgotten. When done properly, it's an art form. A gesture that expresses affection in silence, that conveys feelings that cannot be expressed, demands knowledge of the time context and emotional intelligence, neither of which is not haphazard or irresponsible, but rather purposeful but nuanced expression interest without anticipation in an environment where words are gestures that are frequently overused and occasionally underappreciated. This kind of touch can be a really effective tool for correspondence. It serves as a reminder that the deepest relationships can occasionally are created without the use of words. But by means of what is felt, being proficient with these touches isn't simply concerning touch. It's about fostering the development of emotional intimacy, trust, and demonstrating sincere concern for one another. Touch should be respectful, natural, and purposefully letting her feel treasured and linked to you. If this tutorial was useful to you, don't. Don't forget to sign up for Priceless Mind. For additional information on creating meaningful, click the thumbs up button if you have connections. You found this video entertaining and turned on the notification bell to ensure you don't miss anything on our most recent material.